afternoon from the KUOW newsroom. This is Seattle Now. I'm Paige Browning with a roundup of today's top stories. It's Thursday, August 7th. Starting with a countdown on a clothing-free beach. A King County judge has denied a neighborhood association's request to close the popular nude beach at Denny Blaine Park. But changes are coming. Noelle Gasca has more.
The plaintiff, Denny Blaine Park for All, alleges that over the last decade, the park has become a hot spot for public masturbation, drug use, and sexual acts. A lawyer representing the association argued that the city is an uncooperative landowner and the park needs to be closed. But King County Superior Court Judge Samuel Chung denied that motion. Instead, the city of Seattle has 60 days to install a 4-foot visual barrier separating a clothing required and a clothing optional section as laid out in an abatement plan shared by the city last week. A review hearing will be scheduled after the 60-day period. If the barrier doesn't curb the alleged illicit behavior, the association may have a stronger argument to close the park, Chung said. Ultimately, the judge said, a lot will depend on the behavior of park users themselves. From the King County Courthouse, Noelle Gasca, KUOW News.
Also impacting how we use our city today, we're getting a better idea of when Sound Transit will finally connect light rail from Seattle to the east side. Casey Martin reports.
Sound Transit has been telling riders that service across Lake Washington is trending toward early 2026. It'll connect light rail in Seattle to tracks in Mercer Island, Bellevue, and Redmond. Early 2026 is now April 25th, according to a monthly status report from June published this week. But that date is likely to change. The timeline to add a train to the I-90 bridge has already been pushed back. The agency still has more testing to do, plus some work on the new stations. When it is done next year, the connection will run 14 miles from Seattle's Judkins Park neighborhood to South Bellevue. Casey Martin, KUOW News.
A trip to the islands will cost more soon. Fares on Washington state ferries are going up. Noelle Gasca has the details today.
Starting October 1st, if you're riding round trip from Seattle to Bremerton and you're not a senior or a rider with a disability, you'll see your fare go up 80 cents, from $10.25 to $11.05. That new price reflects a 3% fare increase, which was approved by the Washington State Transportation Commission on Wednesday. And it also includes new surcharges that were approved by state lawmakers and Governor Bob Ferguson. The price hikes will roll over into 2026. Another 3% fare increase will happen May 1st. And the summer peak season surcharge will jump to 35% for all routes. Noelle Gasca, KUOW News.
On our immigration beat, a Salvadorian man is facing felony charges after briefly escaping from ICE custody at SeaTac Airport last month. Court documents say Gerson Enrique Castañeda Piche slipped out through the back of a car last month in transport to the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma for an immigration hearing. Piche was convicted on a domestic violence charge in California and told authorities he would face persecution or torture if he was sent back to El Salvador. Washington colleges and universities are still waiting on federal funding for migrant students this fall, and they're worried it might not come. Ann Dornfeld reports.
The U.S. Department of Education froze billions in school funding this summer, citing concerns that it went toward immigrants without legal status. It's released most of the funding in recent weeks, but not for colleges' migrant education programs. Shoreline College President Jack Kahn says it's one of many community colleges that use the money to teach adult basic education classes and help immigrants learn English.
It's a core part of our mission as community colleges and certainly as Shoreline College. And it really is transformational, the work that we do with this funding.
At the University of Washington, a spokesperson said, a long-standing program that helps the children of migrant workers enroll and succeed in college may not operate this school year unless the federal funding is released soon. Nearly everyone in the UW program is a first-generation college student. Ann Dornfeld, KUOW News.
A couple of things to know about on public safety. The city of Seattle has agreed to pay $3 million to settle a gender discrimination lawsuit with a female police captain. Deanna Nolette served as the SPD's assistant chief for 5 years and filed the lawsuit after then Seattle Police Chief Adrian Diaz demoted her to captain. The Seattle Times reports the city has agreed to pay Nolette for 1,000 hours of leave and other benefits, and then she will retire. And Tacoma's multi-care Allen Moore Hospital is now on normal operations. Visitors were temporarily prohibited due to a fatal shooting last night around 7 p.m. inside the emergency room lobby. Tacoma police say a man was fatally shot and a woman was injured. They're asking anyone with information about the shooting to contact them. Here's news on one of the state's biggest, furriest predators. A new court ruling could lead to more protections for gray wolves in Washington and eastern Oregon. From Oregon Public Broadcasting, Courtney Sherwood explains.
Last year, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said gray wolves were doing well in parts of 6 western states and didn't need Endangered Species Act protections in those areas. But in a new ruling, federal judge Donald Malloy says the agency didn't look closely enough at everything affecting wolf populations in eastern Oregon, eastern Washington, and other affected states. He told Fish and Wildlife officials to go back to the drawing board and take a closer look at the latest science and at how state politics around hunting and killing wolves could affect their populations. Environmental groups heralded Malloy's ruling as a hopeful step. But until the new review is done, wolves east of the Oregon Cascades are still unprotected. And there's no guarantee Fish and Wildlife officials will change their minds after they take another look at the data. I'm Courtney Sherwood, reporting.
Lastly today, art show openings and closings are all over Pioneer Square tonight for this month's free art walk. Among a few dozen shows to see, it's the closing night of a show about countercultures by Miguel Eduardo at Gallery Errado. There are opening receptions at J. Reinhardt Gallery, Gallery 110, Bacovino Winery, and King Street Station. And it's the beginning of a farewell. Davidson Galleries will have its final art walk tonight and cease operations next month, according to the Seattle Times. The owner, Sam Davidson, also helped found the art walk itself. Now he plans to retire. Next time on Seattle Now, it's Casual Friday. We'll talk about making the street outside Pike Place Market car-free, a street many a driver has unintentionally got caught in the past.
I think it's a lot of people who don't have any idea what the street is until they have turned the corner and they realize that
it's cobblestones.
It's cobblestones and bodies.
And that's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. See you soon.